my name is Maddie and I am one of the Tits Up podcasters as well as the owner of Madeline Intimates. In today's mini episode, I am going to go over a subject that I'm sure you all are dying to know a little bit more about: sizing. We touched on this in episode 2 about, sister sizing, getting your breast root shape, measuring yourself and what those measurements mean, what is a bad fit. And in this mini episode, it's kind of like a bonus episode, I'm gonna be going over each one just briefly. I'm not gonna be going in depth about them, but I'm gonna go over them, just kind of highlight them. And then if you wanna know more, you can go into it and research it on your own. Of course, if you have any questions, you can message us on the Tits Up Podcast Instagram, or email any of us or me, hello@madeline.com. So the first thing that I want to get into is sizing and what your numbers mean. I feel like a lot of people get so confused with bra sizing because they go to one store, let's just use the example Victoria's Secret, and they wear a size 32C, and then they go and buy a bra from Third Love and they're a 34 double D, and they're like, what is this? What size am I? So first of all, and I'm talking about home sewing and I'm talking about ready to wear, there's no consistency with sizing. So there's no universal size chart, no universal sizing system, kind of like an ISO for bras. There's none of that. So each vendor in home sewing, as well, whether you're getting a sewing pattern from, let's just say, Emerald Erin, or a sewing pattern from Madeline Intimates, each one is going to have a different size chart. And in that, don't just look for any size chart by a brand, because for Madeline, we have different size charts for different styles, because the grade rules change for different styles. And it's the same thing in ready to wear too. Different styles, let's say a demi bra versus a balconette bra versus a classic underwire bra, might have different size charts. So it's so important, no matter whether you're buying from a store or you're picking out your next sewing pattern, to know your measurements. Your measurements are not going to change. The size that you wear in different brands is going to change. So the important thing is that you know your measurements, and also read the reviews. If you're buying a bra from, let's just say, Free People, read the reviews, say, hey, it sizes small, or size up, whereas Emerald Erin, it's good for people who are bottom heavy in their breasts. So read the reviews, so helpful. And that's what's great about social media. There are pros and cons, but one of the pros is that we can share so much information. So try to get that information to be of use to you. So you might be thinking okay, I want to know my measurements, but I really don't know how to take my measurements. I know this seems, and I'm going to show you, and you're going to say wow, that is really simple. There's no long division, there's no long math. It is so simple, but it's something that nobody ever shows you how to do. And a lot of people don't have bra fittings. So we actually had one of our fit models come in here recently, and she said that she thinks that she's a 34B, and that's what size that she always wears in stores. I will say that a lot of people think they're a size because that's the size that the store carries. So in the ready-to-wear world, you go into a store and there will be a wide range of sizes. Sometimes not that wide, but a wide range of sizes that you can pick from. And you squeeze into one, not squeeze them, you try on one and you say, this fits me the best, so this must be my size. It might not be though. Most of the time, people have to size down in a band and size up in a cup. Most people that I measure, when I measure them, I'm like, you're a D cup. And they're like, no, I'm not, I'm wearing a B cup. Measurement-wise, you are a B cup. And when I get into measurements, you want to take it with a grain of salt. Now, I say that you should rely on your measurements, Your measurements aren't going to change, but take them with a grain of salt, because I measured somebody recently and they measured a C, but they were actually a B cup, because their measurement across the full bust was mostly coming from their back. So they had a very wide back and triceps and deltoids, whatever that area is, that made their full bust measurement a lot bigger than their under bust measurement. So they actually measured it as a C cup. But we looked at her and we were like, you are not a C cup, you are very flat, and you are definitely an A cup. So again, you take your measurements, you know your measurements, but you also use common sense. and determine your size. So let's get right into it because this is a mini episode. So how do you take your measurements? So you are going to want to pretend that the camera is a mirror, and you are going to turn to the side, and you are going to first, you can measure your full bust or your under bust interchangeably. You can do one first or the other. There's no kind of right or wrong. So you're going to take your full bust, and I actually have a mirror right here that I'm looking at. And you're going to take your tape measure and make sure that you measure all the way around and that it's level all the way around. Now, a common question that I get is, well, how tight should the, how tight should it be? So you want it to be snug enough that it stays up on itself and doesn't fall over, but you don't want it to be tight enough that it's actually constricting you and like cutting into your skin. That's too tight. You also want to make sure that when you're measuring, you are wearing like a non-padded bra, sports bra, like one of those seamless bras to keep everything up in shape, because I know a lot of people, gravity and age hits, so it hangs lower. So if you let your breasts hang just how they are, you might skew that number. So you want it to be like in their upright position. So a seamless bra is really great for that. I also suggest measuring yourself throughout the month, because some people get really bloated right before they get their period. Some people don't at all. But knowing your fluctuations and your numbers and how they change will be super helpful when you make your bra. Or when you find what size bra you are. So once you take your full bust measurement, you are going to then take your under bust or rib cage measurement. So this is right where your inframammary glands separate from your chest wall. And some people ask me, how do I know this? You just know. You will see where that little crease is, because that's where you want to measure, because that's essentially where the band of your bra is going to be. So let's just say that this was 40 inches, her full bust, or this person's full bust was 40 inches, and this person's under bust was 35. So you subtract 35 from 40 and you get 5. So each number will correspond with a cup size. So A cup is 1 inch, B cup is 2 inches, C cup is 3 inches, D cup is 4 inches, double D cup is 5 inches, and it goes on. And this sizing is different per country. So US has a certain size kind of system, UK and Europe has a certain size system, France has a certain size system, Australia has a certain size system. So not only do brands have a different size system, but the countries do. Yeah, you see where the confusion comes in? So that's how you measure yourself. And you want to just take into consideration, you know, what your body shape is like. If you have a wide back, if you carry all your fullness like in the front. I know some people, it's caught on a pin. Some people, as far as like breast shape, some people carry their weight towards the bottom, some people carry their weight towards the top. So all of that, you have your measurements, but then you want to take into account, you know, what your shape is. And then look at bra patterns that are good for that. We did mention in the episode 2 some awesome bra patterns for beginners, both non-stretch and stretch fabrics, I believe. It was 2 weeks ago that we recorded that. My memory is shot. So you want to check that out. So you have your measurements and you think you have your size in a certain bra pattern and you make it, but now it comes down to what makes a good or bad fit. So I'm not going to go into every single thing that indicates a bad or poor fit, but I'm going to give some like key indicators. So one thing is that if you turn to the side and if your band is riding up, that means that your band is too loose and the weight of your breast is pulling down all the straps. A good fitting band, 10% of a bra's support comes from the strap. And a good way to test if your band is snug enough is you want to put it on the loosest hook, because when you first make or buy a bra, you put it on the loosest hook, and then as the elastic wears out, you go tighter and tighter. If you put your bra on and you knock off your straps, your band should be stable, because the bra should not be relying on your straps. So put on your bra, knock off the straps, and see if your band still stays in place. If it doesn't, your band is too loose. So that is a good indicator of if your band is too tight or if they're relying on the straps. Other key indicators that your bra might not fit right is if it has cups, if it's creating a quad boob where it's cutting in right here, the neckline, that is a bad fit. It might be sewing. If you're sewing, that you stretch the tension on the elastic too much here, it could be a pattern thing. So you have to take into account those too. Any type of drag lines will result in or kind of indicate that they do indicate a poor fit. And usually those drag lines are pointing to where the area of fit issue is happening. So if it's like hypothetically, if the drag lines are, right here, it's either here or here the area that you have to address, that you need to fix. So usually it's the drag lines point to the area that needs to be fixed. Any gapping, any spilling over, obviously I know that is should be common sense, but some people just they don't know what a good fit is, and they wear it and they think it's okay. So I just want to reiterate that any gapping, any drag lines, any quad boobs, also quad butts, that goes to lingerie or that goes to underwear too with the quad butt, that means your panties are too tight, indicate a bad fit. So the next thing I want to talk about is breast root shape. My sweater keeps getting hooked on these pins. It's breast root shape. So some people, and you might have heard in Instagram, interwebs, Facebook, breast root shape, that you should take your breast root shape to know your underwire shape that you need, as well as size. And so not all people need a breast root shape. So if you're going into an underwire bra, what you can do is you can source a bunch of different underwires from a size range that you think that you are. If you think that you're one size, get one size up and one size down. Purchase several different underwires from different vendors, because there's no consistency in underwire sizing. So one person's classic daywear will be different than another person's classic daywear. And that's okay, because bodies come in all different shapes, so it's good that we have different shape underwires. So you could get a bunch of different underwires, and then you want to put it on underneath your breast, where again the inframammary, the fat goes away from your chest wall, and see which one fits better. It shouldn't be up in your armpit. It should be really snug and right in your breast. You might need some help holding up your boobs if you are full busted. Ask a friend, ask a significant other, ask a roommate, but you will need to do that without wearing a bra. So breast root shape, I suggest for people that think that they are omega shape. So omega shape is a really narrow breast root with really full cups. And if you're looking down, it's a really big fullness with a really small or narrow underwire. That's omega shaped. Only a small percentage of people are omega shaped, but if you try on a classic daywear and they just don't fit and they're too wide for you, and you are full cup or full busted, you might be omega shaped. So I suggest listen, it can't hurt to do breast root shape, and what you do is you get a flexi ruler and you again put it right where your inframammary fat is coming away from your chest wall, and you kind of get the shape that you think that you are. So flexi ruler is a ruler that you can mold into a different shape. And you can use that to determine if you're omega shaped. Lilypad Designs she did an awesome class on Great Bra Sewing Bee. I'm not sure if you can still get it, but I'm sure she has some awesome resources on omega shape. So if you think you're omega shape, definitely look into that, or message her and ask her about that. I hope she is not like, Maddie, you're sending me all these people without my permission, but I'm sure she'll love it. So ask her about that, or just do some Googling and ask what omega shape is. I know that it comes up a lot in the bra making forum groups on Facebook. So that's omega shaped and breast root shape. So I suggest, can't hurt to do it, but I definitely suggest it if you think that you are a omega shape. So one other thing that I want to talk about is not all styles are going to work for all bodies, and that is okay. As somebody who designs patterns as well as ready-made lingerie, I know that when I come out with something, it is not going to fit everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there are some things that I look good in, or I think that I look good in. That's a biased opinion. And there are some things that I'm like, I just can't wear. And I'm not upset. That's okay, because I'd rather focus on I would rather focus and wear on the things that make me look good than focus on the things that make me look bad and feel bad about myself. So, you know, there are some styles, and you know, if you really like the black beauty bra, but you're like, you know, it just doesn't work for me, I guarantee you that there will be another style that works great for you. And no matter what size, shape, color, gender you think you are, or you associate with, you will look the best in something that fits you. So don't concentrate on things that don't fit you. Search for things that do fit you, that are going to make you look good and feel good. I sound so aspirational right now. Let's go to church. So the last thing that I want to talk to you about in this mini episode is sister sizing. There are so many people who do not know what sister sizing is. Now I'm going to briefly go over it, and again, if you want to know more, do some Googling. There is so much research, or so many articles and blog posts on sister sizing. So sister sizing is different band sizes with the same cup volume. So a lot of people who don't know what sister sizing is, when they go and shop for bras, they will pick up a size 32B, and if it's too tight, they'll be like, okay, this 32B is too tight, I'm gonna go up to a 34B. Call it a day. That should fit, right? Because the cups is still B, but I'm just gonna go up a band size. Wrong. So sister sizing is the same cup volume on different band sizes. So if you go up a cup, you go down a letter size. That has the same volume. So using that example again, if you're trying a 32B and you say this is too tight, I need to go up, you would actually go to a 34A. They have the same cup volume, but one has a bigger band size. So the cup volume is going to be the same, but it's going to be a snugger fit, and it's going to fit you better. Or it's going to be a looser fit and fit you better if the 32B was too tight. So, and this also goes to a saying that not all cup sizes are the same. So a 32A, if you kept that same thinking, it was like, okay, so if I'm a 32B and it's too tight, so I'm going to go up to a 34B, that's also saying that a 32A is the same as a 42A. A 32A is going to be a lot different than a 40A. So a cup size is relative to its band size. So there are a ton of charts, if you Google sister sizing, that will tell you your sister size. So let's just say I am a 30B, my sister size would be a 32A, and so on. Using a different cup size, so I can go on. If you are a 32D, the sister size is a 34C, the sister size is a 36B, the sister size is a 38A. So all of those share the same cup volume, but different band sizes. It gets so confusing. Sometimes I have to write it down to make sure that I'm like, I'm getting so confused right here, let me write it down. So yeah, so that is our mini episode. Again, this is mini. I wanted to just cover some different topics, how to take your measurements, what those measurements mean, whether you're a sewer or, shopping in the ready-to-wear market. What else did I talk about? Different style, omega shapes and breast root. So if you want to take a breast root shape, how do you take a breast root shape, and who I suggest to take a breast root shape. Different styles, not all styles are going to work for you, and that's okay. Let's focus on what is going to work for you, as well as sister sizing. So again, I hope that you enjoyed this mini episode. Definitely tune into our other episodes on Tits Up Podcast. We just wrapped up our second episode, so we should be doing our third episode in December about some best ofs of the year, some new bra patterns that came out, what we're looking forward to in the next year. So lots coming from Tits Up Podcast. So I will see you again another time.